It don't matter. There's a new doctrine. It don't matter.
Don't matter. Yeah.
Hey, you got some pretty nice bikes over here, guys.
You got a lot of money, you can buy it.
Well, looks a little bit out of my league, to be honest, but sure is a good-looking machine. I'm Paul Rooney. We're here with TNT, and these men are from the Christian Crusaders Motorcycle Outreach Ministry, Evangelism on Wheels, and they're based out of Kennewick, Washington. And why don't you tell us a little bit about this unit here?
Well, this one here is called a Bad Boy. That's my first year on it. I usually ride an old 48 Panhead, but my Panhead's just waiting for this new one to break down so I can ride it again.
And what's the horsepower on this?
Go.
Just go, huh?
Go.
Go, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not copping to nothing.
We got some other machines over here too.
What's yours, Terry?
This is a 94 Heritage Softail. And it's a good tool to share Jesus with whoever I come in contact with. It's my rolling pulpit. In fact, I even use it for weddings. I stand behind it and lay my Bible on it, and it works pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something else.
What's that, Cat?
This is the first bagger I ever bought. I call it a old man's bike. All the bikes that I've had in the past were choppers or hardtails. But now that I'm getting older, I decided that I would go with this. This is a 90 Electroglide. It's got the radio on it and the air shocks. And about 34,000 miles. So it's been a good tool. First thing I did after I got the bike was I had to see that this was a tool. The bikes I had in the past were toys. So when I bought it, first thing I did was take care of business. I put Jesus Christ crucified in front so that no matter where I went, people would know Jesus is first. Bottom line.
That's pretty interesting. What
I
about
think it'd be cool? He's the backslidden one in the bunch. Tell him what you're
Tell him
running.
I got too old, preacher.
Oh.
I got too old to ride that big bagger like that, so I sold it and got a backslidden bike, a V-Star.
All
I
right.
can build another one or whatever. But
Right on.
it still works. It still.
That's more about my monetary standard in there bracket anyway.
Well, they all cost too much. Make a long story short, when I came home from overseas and through some other things, I wound up at the end of my rope. Couldn't deal with the war in my mind. And the way God would have it, God sent an old converted alky around to help me. A little guy didn't weigh 110 pounds soaking wet. But I knew he cared about me. And that time I was all strung out, just waiting for the hour to come. And he tricked me into going to church with him. And anyhow, he was preaching a little church in Louisiana. And anyhow, he tricked me into going. And so I went, and he was talking about the love of God, man. He was talking about the cross. That's what he was preaching on, about these two thieves, you know. One's mocking God and talking out the side of his neck and quacking and going on, and the other saying, hey man, ain't you got no class? We deserve what we're going to get. But this man talking about Jesus has done nothing wrong, nothing amiss. And when he began to talk about that one thief that said, Lord, remember me, it's like somebody reached on and flipped the light on for me. Said, you couldn't have told me that before. I was a sick boy. You couldn't told me that before, that this Jesus stuff and all this stuff is real. You couldn't have told me that. But it took a miracle from God to open my eyes. I didn't care about the guy sitting next to me. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. It didn't matter at all. But the gospel, man, as it was shared, I can't explain it. A person has to go through it to. You just can't explain it. But there was a glimmer of hope for me, and he continued to love on me, And I don't know why I did, but I went up there right in the middle of service. I didn't know about order and church and all that stuff. And I said, well, if this God you're talking about is real, and this Jesus bull roar is real, then I want him to do something for me. And he said, well, just pray with me. I said, I don't know how to pray, man. I don't know nothing about all this stuff, but I'm pulling you up on this. If this God is real and this Jesus is real, then I want him to do something in me. I went to the end of my road. And I got down and he prayed the sinner's prayer with me, and it felt like just a big dump truck man backed off my back. And I was in a church of a bunch of mouse-headed religious people that wouldn't said hi, goodbye, or nothing. I mean, they were just stoned, like the Church of the Frozen Chosen or something, you know. And but see, it was God working in my heart. I didn't matter about the rest, and that's when it started. And I bought the three-piece suit, got the razor haircut, and I wanted a new life so bad. It didn't matter what I had to do. I wanted a new life. I was tired of living reality. Reality in the world is something America doesn't know. Reality they don't understand real reality. Mm-hmm. We're fat cats in this country. The rest of them are dying and up to the neck in blood. And the reality that I know was not the reality that I could fit in. I just didn't fit. And so as time went on, God began to show me, because I knew that people used to carry that. See, a long time ago, when I come to the Lord, people wasn't a bunch of undercover agents for God. They packed their Bible out on the street, and they were proud of it, and they had something going on. You could see it in their eyes. And I knew whatever they had going was in that book. I say I couldn't read. Okay? And so I tricked this guy after he brought me home. I tricked him into coming in the house. I locked the door. I said, I want you to read me the book. He said, I can't read that book. Well, I popped the cap in a little block house, and I said, read the book. And anyhow, he began to read about 2:30 or so. When it got daylight, I don't know what time it was, but he read till it started getting daylight, and he says, I don't care. He said, I can't read no more. Well, he brought me back some records. We didn't have tapes like that then, but some big records with a Bible on it. And I just shut up and listened to him. And